And they're meant to coordinate with this necklace and bracelet set. This is the design in another color scheme using 2 colors of crystals. And this is the design made with 1 color of crystals. So let's talk about the materials that we're going to need. For these earrings, you're going to need 4mm bicone crystals in 2 colors, 14 of each color. Or if you're doing 1 color of the 4mm crystals, you need 28 of them. You're also going to need 18 super duos, as well as 11O Toho seed beads, and 2 6 or 8 seed beads to connect the ear hooks with jump rings. So let's get started. I'm using a size 10 needle with 6-pound fire line. And I'm going to start by stringing on a super duo, an 11O, a 6 or 8 seed bead, and an 11O. I'll string that on. And then I'll go back up through those beads to form a loop. Pull that over the super duo. And here's where I can tie a knot. And after I've tied my knot, I go back up through that same hole in the super duo. Next, I add 2 seed beads and super duo. Always good to check both holes of the super duo when you put it on the needle. And then go through the other hole of the super duo. Next, we put a super duo in 2 seed beads, and we go through this first hole again. Next, I want to go down through these 2 seed beads again. I add 2 seed beads and a super duo, and I go through the bottom hole of the super duo. I add 1 seed bead and go through the tip of this super duo. Flip that around. Next, we add a super duo and 2 seed beads, and we want to go through all 3 super duos at the top. Pull that tight. And then we want to go through these last 2 seed beads on this side. Add 2 seed beads, go through the tip of the super duo. Add a seed bead, a super duo, and 3 seed beads. String that on. And we want to go through the other hole of the super duo we just added. We add 1 seed bead, and we want to go through the tip of this super duo and the next seed bead and the next super duo. And when you pull that tight, it kind of makes this super duo sit perpendicular to the previous one. I'm coming out of this side of the super duo, so I want to go through 2 of the next seed beads. Next, I put on a seed bead, super duo, and 3 seed beads. String that on. And want to go through the other hole of the super duo I just added. Next, flip this around this way. I want to go back up through the next 2 seed beads in between. So when I pull that tight, it flips it around. Next, coming out of this seed bead, I want to go through the next seed bead, super duo, and seed bead. And continue through the next 2 seed beads. Next, I add a super duo and 3 seed beads. String that on. And I want to go through the other hole of that super duo I just put on. Pull that tight. Kind of hold the super duo to pull tight. Then I add 1 seed bead and want to go through these 2 seed beads here between. Then, coming out of this seed bead, I want to go through the next super duo and seed bead. Then I want to go through the next seed bead. In this next step, we'll connect this side to this. So we'll put 1 seed bead, super duo, and seed bead, and we'll go through the tip of this super duo. Next we add 1 seed bead, and if this is flipped out, just flip it inward for this next step. You want to go through the other hole, inner hole of that super duo. Again, that kind of makes this perpendicular to this one. Then I want to continue through these 2 seed beads in between. And then I want to go through the next seed bead, super duo, and seed bead. I'll add 2 seed beads. And I want to continue up through all the seed beads on this side. So it looks like I'm going through 4 at first and before the last one here. And that'll line those up. Go through, continue through the large seed bead. And we want to continue down all of these seed beads. Going through the first 5 and the next 3. Here we'll add 3 seed beads and we'll go around the tip of this super duo. So we're coming out of this seed bead, we're going to go through this seed bead on the other side of the super duo. Here's where we start adding crystals. Add a seed bead, crystal, and seed bead. String that on. You want to go back up through only the crystal. Hold the crystal as you pull that tight. Add a seed bead. And we want to go through the seed bead before the next super duo. Again, we add seed bead, crystal, seed bead, string that on, go back up only through the crystal, add a seed bead, and we want to go through the seed bead after the super duo. Again, seed bead, crystal, seed bead, string that on, go back up only through the crystal, add a seed bead, and we want to go through the seed bead just before the super duo. Again, we add a seed bead, crystal, seed bead, string that on, go back up only through the crystal, add a seed bead, and we want to go through the seed bead just after the super duo. Again, we add a seed bead, crystal, and seed bead, string that on, go back up only through the crystal, add a seed bead, and here we want to go through the seed bead just before the super duo. Next, I add 3 seed beads to go around the tip of this super duo. So I add 3 seed beads and go through the seed bead after the super duo and anything following it, as many as my needle will go through, because I want to continue up and around the side here and come out the tip of this crystal. So I'm coming out of this seed bead, I'm going to continue up through the rest of them. through the large crystal, through the large seed bead, back down the seed beads on this side, going through 5 and 3 more. Next, I go through the super duo and the next seed bead, and then I'll go up through the seed bead before the crystal and the crystal. Then I can go through this tip. Now I'm ready to add my next row of crystals. I'm going to change colors here on the first one, seed bead, crystal, seed bead, and then go through the seed bead that's at the tip of the next crystal. Change colors again, seed bead, crystal, seed bead, and then go through the tip of the next crystal, the seed bead at the end there. Seed bead, crystal, seed bead, go through the seed bead at the tip of the next crystal. Then I change colors, seed bead, crystal, seed bead, and go through the tip of the last crystal. Here I'm going to turn and go the other direction, so I'm going to flip this over. And here I'm coming out of this seed bead, this last one here. I'm going to go through the next seed bead, crystal, seed bead. Add seed bead, crystal, seed bead, string that on. Go back up only through the crystal. Hold the crystal to pull it tight. Add one seed bead. And we want to go through the seed bead and the crystal only here. Next, we add a seed bead, crystal, seed bead, crystal, seed bead. String that on. Go back up through the last crystal and the next seed bead. Hold the crystal to pull it tight. Then add crystal and the seed bead. Here we want to go through the crystal, the next crystal here, and the next seed bead. Putting on our last crystal here, seed bead, crystal, seed bead, string that on. Go up only through the crystal. Add a seed bead, and we want to go through the seed bead, crystal, seed bead. So here's where we want to, this is pretty much the finished earring, but we want to weave our thread back through a little bit and then tie a knot. So I'm coming out of this seed bead here. I'm going to continue through the next seed bead and crystal, just following it around, going through next 2 seed beads and super duo. You could go around if you want, just trying to follow the thread around to where I'm coming, where I started here. That would be a good place to tie a knot. So continue up through second to last seed bead there, through the super duo to get to the other side. So now I'm coming out of the same place my thread started. So here is where I'll tie a knot. So now I just need to snip both ends and add the ear hook. Here I've snipped both ends and I'm ready to open my jump ring, feed it through the large seed bead, add the ear hook, and close it. I always like using jump rings to connect the ear finding because if I want to convert them to clip or use a post instead, I can just change it out real easy. So this is the finished earring.